Anderson School District 3 has 5 schools. We have the distinction of being the smallest population countywide, but the largest geographical area. So Anderson School District 3 basically covers Star and Iva. We have about 2,600 students and 5 schools. Those schools are Crescent High School, Star Iva Middle School, Flat Rock Elementary School, Iva Elementary School, and Star Elementary School. As I say, 2,600 students and 5 schools in our district. We've had some pretty major impressive achievements over the last school year. I think the highlight of our year was that our own Mr. Jeff Maxey was named as the 2019 South Carolina State Teacher of the Year. This is the first time Anderson School District 3 has had a finalist, much less a State Teacher of the Year. Jeff is the epitome of a wonderful classroom teacher. He is well-spoken, he cares about students, he's a champion for them. He will be a great representative of Anderson 3 as he travels throughout the state next year, and also nationally as he represents South Carolina. So we're very proud that Jeff Maxey is our own teacher. We also had, this year from our senior class, we had 14 Palmetto Fellows. And for a class of 159 to have 14 Palmetto Fellows is about double the number we usually have. So that shows some of the achievements we're making academically. Another thing we focused on in the past school year that we're really proud of is really expanding our science, technology, engineering, and math program. We have a dedicated teacher in every elementary school building to the STEM program. And then we've expanded robotics and coding all throughout elementary, middle, and high. This year, for the second time, we did a 3-week STEM camp for our students, 5th grade and 8th grade. But this year we added the arts component to it too now. So we're going from STEM to STEAM to really recognize the arts as a part of that total package. Another thing that we've developed last year, and I'm real happy to announce that we've rolled out this week actually, is we have an Anderson School District 3 app that can be downloaded from the App Store on your iPhone or Android device, and it will give you real-time information on the district. We've revamped all of our websites. This app will tie into any Twitter, Facebook type social media account that we house, so that all the information you need on Anderson School District 3 can be found in one place. It's as simple as downloading it on your device and going to that, and we have a system to put up real-time information. We can send out notifications of what's going on in our buildings, notifications about inclement weather. So I think you're going to be excited about how quickly and how up-to-date the communication will be from Anderson School District 3.
Okay, and what about, what are some of the big things you're looking forward to this year, the upcoming school year?
Well, with the upcoming school year, one big thing for us is that we have 800 Chromebooks ready to roll out at Crescent High School, so that we will have a one-to-one student Chromebook initiative starting in the fall with Crescent. In the past years, we've been building to this. We started several years ago by updating our infrastructure so that we would have the backbone in place to run it. Then this past year, we rolled out Chromebooks to our middle and high school teachers so that they could become familiar with the programs. We were doing some professional development on those. And so now this is really the third stage of our implementation to actually get the Chromebooks in the children's hands. With that implementation also, we'll have about 16 Chromebook carts that will move down to the middle school. Our middle school already had 12 Chromebook carts, so that's going to give us about 28 carts in the middle school that actually will make our middle school be a one-to-one classroom initiative. In our elementary schools, our principals have done an outstanding job with Title I funds to purchase iPads and devices for their grades 3 through 5 to be one-to-one. And even last year, our elementary schools took some of their Title I funds and started purchasing Chromebooks to add to that, and so now they're pushing more of the devices down to K1 and 2. So our technology initiative in the district is really expanded, and we're proud of that because we feel like we've built the structure to not just hand a child a Chromebook, but to be able to utilize that Chromebook as a true teaching tool in our classrooms, and all the professional development, the training goes along with that.
And how are the kids responding to the technology?
Well, kids are better with technology than we are. It's just a natural part of their life. I mean, what we do on paper and pencil is something they have already automatically doing with a device. And so really some of it has been us catching up to them. And I'm not sure we'll truly catch up to them, because we still joke around here that if you have a problem with a Chromebook, don't ask a teacher, ask a student. The student will be able to solve that problem much quicker than you can. But really that's another part of our focus too, is we want to move to more personalized learning, blended learning, where the teacher's a facilitator in the classroom. The teacher's not the sage on the stage anymore, but really setting up an environment where students can learn, and that teacher is on the side guiding and facilitating, because that's really where you get to the critical thinking skills that the profile of South Carolina graduate tells us that our kids have to be successful in their future. Some security updates that we've done in our district that I think will be very helpful next year. One, and I have one of these here, we've added, and we already have some existing cameras in our buildings, but we've added 71 new analog cameras in our buildings. So we have coverage that's really expanded, that's really up to date. We've also added full coverage on our playgrounds. And so with these cameras, I actually can sit at my desk and I can pull up a feed of every camera in our district. So if I want to know what's going on at a school, or if I hear that there's a problem at a school, I can pull up that camera in that area and I can see it at my desk. Not only can I see it, but our SROs and Iowa Police Department, who provides our SROs, they can pull it up and see. So if there's a problem or a situation, we've got immediate input and immediate information about where to go. And so that's one thing that I think will beef up our security. Another thing that I'm proud to say we've done for next year is, if you've heard of safe Seavers, red bags, but inside the red bags is a clipboard that a teacher can put their hard copy roster on. There's a whistle, there's a small first aid kit, but the most important thing to me, beside the roster in this bag, is there's an earpiece that in the situation of an emergency in a building, that teacher can put that earpiece in their ear and they can hear instructions directly from the administrator, from any law enforcement authorities that are there. And so it gives us communication that's very vital in the case of an emergency. Now I'll tell you, we've had a couple of schools that already had these bags, or some version of these bags, that the principals have used some of their funds to use, or we've used some general fund money to get. But this past year we had some volunteers and some parents who came in and wanted to know what they could do to help with school security, and we looked at some options. So actually they're helping raise funds so that every school, every teacher in Anderson School District 3 will have this red bag. And so if you go into our buildings, when our elementary teachers leave the classroom, they grab this bag. It goes with them whether they're going to the playground, whether they're going to lunch, etc. It'll be a little change for our middle and high school teachers because they haven't had the bags, but they will also follow the same procedure. And it's just another layer of security, because when a school safety incident happens, seconds of a communication are important. So I'm real excited that we're able to do this, and I'm also excited that our community came on board and said, how can we help you fund these things? And so this is something you'll see in every building as the year starts.
And safety continues to be a priority that, like when you got into education, that was probably not even in your list of the top 5 things, I mean, in terms of the kind of safety we're talking about now. Mm-hmm. Are there any other things y'all are looking at? I mean, I know everybody's made some changes, I guess. Right.
Well, with safety, I want to reemphasize that one thing our district committed to about 5 years ago was having a school resource officer in every building. And I can tell you that's an expense that our district board said, we will find a way to pay for that because we believe that's important. And studies about school safety will tell you the number one factor to deter a problem in a building is an SRO dedicated to that building, having that car out in front, tells the community you've got somebody there, and that person's dedicated to it. Another thing that was in that study of things that support school safety and security really is mental health counseling. And through a grant and some work with Anderson County Mental Health and State Mental Health, last year we were able to put a full-time mental health counselor housed at Crescent High School. And that counselor worked really with Crescent students, Star Ivy students, and if there were special situations where they needed to go into the elementary, they could. But what it gave us is a dedicated person who was trained as a mental health counselor, and that often is the piece that's missed in school safety, is getting that mental health person in place. Another thing we implemented last year that we're continuing to refine is school check-in systems, where whenever a visitor comes into a building, they have to show their license, and it runs a background search on them, and it lets us know if they're on a sex offenders list, if they have outstanding warrants and things like that. And so that gives us another check of who's coming into our buildings as guests, and it lets us know how we need to follow our emergency plans from there. So those are some security upgrades that we've done, that we've made better, that we continue. One other thing I'll mention that I think is another piece that's missed a lot is this whole piece of emotional safety of students in your buildings. And so our professional development, one of the areas that is focused on with our staff this year is truly working with students coming from trauma, working with students on conflict management, just making your classroom and our school buildings emotionally safe for children. Because when we make that environment emotionally safe, our chances of that person acting out as a school shooter or doing something to threaten school safety, it goes down, because we're proactive in meeting those needs instead of being reactive in trying to keep them out of our buildings.
What are some of the other things that you're looking forward to in the upcoming school year?
Well, in the coming school year, we're going to have a continued focus. I've always been a believer in the whole child, and you've got to develop the whole child and get every child engaged in some way. So we're always beefing up our academics, because that's, if you get down to it, what are we here for? We're here for student learning. We're here to provide outstanding teaching so that students can learn and so that they can graduate with that profile of South Carolina graduate. And that means that they're college ready and career ready. And so we're focusing on, in one way, making sure that every class that we're doing has the rigor that students need to be ready for the next level. We're looking at more blended learning opportunities where, maybe the best way to take a course may not be in your traditional classroom. So how can we use the South Carolina Virtual School more for some students to get credits we can't offer? How can we add to this program maybe a credential that a child can walk out of Crescent High School with that says, I've got this level of skill, I'm good, I'll be a good employee for you because I've got an HVAC certificate, I've got an operator certificate, I've got WIN certification that's a bronze level. And so this tells this employer, this is what I can do for you just coming out of high school. It also takes them to the next level. So it's that whole focus of transitioning from one step to another so that children are ready for the next step. We're in our elementary school, as I've already mentioned, especially doing more with STEM and adding the arts to this program to make it a truly STEAM program. What we're trying to do is really get more of the academic integration into that so that it's not STEM over here and then science, ELA, math, social studies over here, but that let's put it together. Let's make it relevant. And when we make things relevant, that's when it really takes hold with students and it's captured with them as they go through every stage of their education. So that's another thing that I'm looking forward to this year. And like I say, the Chromebook rollout and really just getting more technology integration into what we do every day, I think is a motivational thing. From a facility standpoint, We've opened a new field house. We've built a baseball field. We've built an FFA arena. We've made our media center at Crescent High School a truly digital media center that's very attractive for students to come in and use. I think the next steps in our local program is we're doing some upgrades on the football field that will make it a more attractive area, make the playing surface better. We're in the process of painting the press box and redoing the lettering there. Our ultimate goal is to flip the sides and actually rebuild a new home side that would have a new press box. And so I'm not sure we'll finish all of that next year, but we're starting with it. We have a new football coach who I think's brought some new energy into the program. And so I think you'll see some things that'll flow out of that actually go back and affect our academics, because like I say, it's the whole child. And so you build one piece of your program, it affects every other piece of your program, and success builds success. One thing I failed to mention that I think is important too, and it's kind of an upgrade nobody will notice unless your child's a football player. We updated our football helmets this year, and the district spent probably over $30,000 on football helmets. But these helmets have sensors in them that gauge the level of intensity of a hit. And so it will give us real-time information on things like concussions and just, how hard is that impact on that child. And I know there's lots of studies about that, but we've really, I don't have a concern about the safety of the football helmets that our children are wearing. And I didn't before. But I know that we're putting on those players the best technology we can to keep them safe. And that's important to me, and I know it's important to our parents. Yes, oh yes, I could talk a long time about the Anderson Institute of Technology. This is a vision that we're a year away from our kids walking into. This has been a vision for me for a long time, because I've told many people as I've worked in this district for 30 years and even was a student in this district, that the ideal thing for us to do would be to go in with Anderson 4 to open a career center. The problem always was that it would have to be an Anderson 5. Well, when the things fell into place for Anderson 3, 4, and 5 to partner in the Anderson Institute of Technology, it was a perfect fit. It will be right, and you can see the building as you ride down 28 Bypass. It's right there beside Tri-County Technical College. We already bus students to Tri-County Tech every day for mechatronics, for HVAC, and for some of the off-campus college classes that they're taking. So that won't be anything new to us. But what it will give our students is opportunities in 18 more programs to take their interest at whatever level and walk out of our school as graduates with a credential, with just training that takes them to whatever endeavor they go to, whether it be college, university, technical school, or just right off to work. So what it gives them is opportunities in their interest area. And vet tech, we always had health occupations, programming, diesel mechanics, the list goes on and on. Project Lead the Way, other engineering opportunities, all the IT side of things. It's just auto mechanics. The list goes on and on of what students will be able to do there. And one of our big challenges, good challenge this year, is going to be getting that word out to our students of the opportunities you have there, because it's really going to expand our focus. And our students and our staff is now going to have to think bigger than we've thought before. It's not just about what they can do on Crescent High School's campus, but what can they do in partnership with what we're doing at Crescent already and with what's available at the Career Center. So I'm very excited about that. You'll be hearing some businesses that are coming on board to help us with that endeavor. Michelin has already made a big commitment to one of the programmatic areas, and there'll be others that come on board as the year goes out. But really, to think, if you have a freshman or sophomore, then you will totally be ready to step into what the Career Center offers. And even if you have a junior starting this year, they'll have some opportunities there in August of 2019. They probably won't be able to complete a whole program, but they will get some of the knowledge and training, get exposed to it, that will help them as they move through. So really that's a huge focus of getting that as part of our students' career plan. Okay, this is ultimately what I want to do, what I think I want to do, what I'm interested in. This is how we can help you get there. This is what we have to offer. So you'll see me very, very ecstatic when we do this next year, because we will have students ready to go to AIT.
And that's also going to be important for Anderson County's economic development as you prepare students, because there's so many jobs now that they can't fill because they don't have, people aren't trained.
Right, and I think that's the beauty of it. We are getting so many industries in Anderson County and expansion of industries in Anderson County, and the first question they have for the business leaders, for the educational leaders, is, can you give me a trained workforce? And that's a great problem to have, because what I'm now saying to parents is, look, whatever route your child is on, we can lead them to a job, making a great wage, giving them a good standard of living. So let's all work together to hook them up, to have them walk out of our doors of Crescent High School ready to work in these businesses. I had somebody who saw one of the billboards talking about $35 an hour. I think it was at First Quality, and they made the comment to me, it's like, wow, at $35 an hour, we've got jobs where our students going out, our community with the right training can start at a wage like that. That's important, but it puts the pressure on all of us to get our workforce ready, to do everything we can to work with them, because we want those businesses to expand in our county, to stay in our county. We want it to attract more people to our county, because that means that we're given a good product to go to work, which means for your children and my children, they can support themselves with a good quality of life.
And how important are these partnerships with the county and these other businesses for your school district?
The partnerships are vital, and that's what I think it all comes together with the expansion of, none of us can do this alone. I can prepare an academic program for children, but if I don't know what businesses need in my graduates, then they're not ready to come out and work. But the flip side is we've got to know what's there, and so businesses have to let us in. They have to be willing to talk to us. They have to let us tour their facilities. So that two-way communication, and often it's four-way, five-way communication with everybody involved, it gives us the opportunity to get kids into industry, to see what industry needs. It also brings the industry in. We have much more openness now where people want to come into our schools and talk to us about what's going on in their industry. And so it's the communication piece, and everybody sees what part the other plays. And if any part of that drops out, then we all lose. If I prepare a child to go to work but there's not a job for them, then it won't keep them in the county. I want to keep them in the county. We want to keep our good workforce here. By the same token, if the business and industry come in and we can't give them a quality worker, then they're not going to stay with us. They're going to go look for quality workers somewhere else. So everybody working together really does make this work. We offer opportunities for children that are comparable to any large district with lots of money. Because when you get down to it, it's about what you do for your students while they're here. And we have workers, we have teachers, we have staff, we have maintenance workers, we have business workers, whatever the role is in Anderson School District 3, we're all working to give our students the best quality of everything we can. And so one thing that I'm focusing on with our staff this year is the concept of being champions. And Jeff Maxey, being our state teacher of the year, probably put the finishing touch on my champion focus this year. But I heard a Carrie Underwood song that many of you probably heard. It's called Champion. But in that, it spells out what champion means. Courage, heart, attitude, motivation, persevere, integrity, optimistic, and never give up. we have champions in our district every day who come to work to do the very best they can. And one thing I'm going to encourage every person in our district to do is to take a look at yourself and make sure that you're living up to that champion quality, which I know we are, but it's a good reminder, starting with me and everybody else, of we've got to be a champion for children, because some children don't have a champion. And so we have to be their champion. And once they see us being champions, then they become champions too, because it's our mission here to graduate students who are champions also. And champions can take a long time when you think about championships, but if you take it back to the core, every day you're a champion for somebody. And that's what we want to be in Anderson School District 3. We're a champion for one another. One of the things that make Anderson School District 3 such a great place to work is because our faculty and our staff is like family. We work together, we care about one another, and that spills over into what we do with students every day. We care about what happens to students and their families and our communities. So the thing that makes us the best kept secret in Anderson County that I'm trying to tell now is that we do so much with so little, but every child that comes into our buildings gets the same quality of education that they can get in any other district in South Carolina. I truly believe that, because it starts with the people you put in front of your children. We have high quality teachers, we have high quality staff, and then we have a high quality community. So we have good students coming here. We just have to continue to bring the best out of them every day. And that's our job, is to make that light come on, whatever it takes to do it, so that when the children walk across our stage as graduates, they're ready to go, they're at their fullest potential, and they're ready for the next stage of their life. So I'm excited about what we're doing. Come down and talk to me. I'll share it with you further. Our door's always open. You can reach me by email, any of us by email. It's in the app. So if you want to find any of us, download the app, direct communication. I'll respond to your email. It may take a day or two. It may be a response that tells you I'm sending it to somebody who can give you a better answer than me, but reach out to me if you have a question, if you want to know more. Come to our office. We're right here, and we'll talk to you. And that's one special thing about a small district too. There's not layers and layers of levels you have to go to talk to somebody. We're here to communicate with you because we want to work together to be the best that we can be and to make your child successful.